This is worksheet 11.2, which is graphing complex numbers. In this first section, we'll go over how to graph a complex number. This axis, what you're used to seeing as the x-axis, is now the real axis, and what you're used to seeing as the y-axis is now the imaginary axis. To graph a complex number, so let's look at point A. You're going to look at the real part and the imaginary part. The real part is positive 2. So from the origin, we're going to go positive 2 in the real, on the real axis, and positive 5 is the I. So up positive 5 in the imaginary direction. So our point A ends up right here. All right, point D, the real part is negative 5, so we're going to go left 5 in the real direction, negative 3i, that means down 3 in the imaginary direction, and point D ends up right here. All right, point G doesn't have a real part, but it has an imaginary part, negative 1i. So in the real direction, we're not going to go anywhere, 0, and we're going to go negative 1 in the imaginary direction. This is point G. Point E doesn't have an imaginary part.
Attention students, Greg Golden, please report to the guidance office. Greg Golden, please report to the guidance office.
So point E doesn't have an imaginary part, but it has a real part of positive 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, positive 4, and then 0 in the imaginary direction. And then if we look at point H, I squared can be simplified. The definition of I squared is negative 1. So if I graph negative 1, that's negative 1 in the real direction, 0 in the imaginary direction.